everybody. Welcome to another edition of Cooking with Kacy. Today we are going to make a cauliflower on the side recipe. That is it. That is the name of our recipe. It's cauliflower on the side. Now I have already done a little pre-preparation for our recipe. I have a head of cauliflower here, and I don't know if you can see, but there's some steam coming off of our cauliflower. So I have actually pre-cooked this whole head of cauliflower. So what I did was put it in a big pot. See my pot back here? Put the cauliflower in upside down, covered it with water, brought that to a boil, and then once it came to a boil, I lowered the cooking temperature to like a medium low and let it cook covered for 7 minutes. Now I've taken it out of the water and I just have it sitting here on my cutting mat, cooling a little bit, and waiting for me to cut it up and put it in our skillet. So in my skillet here, I am going to place 1 tablespoon of olive oil in my skillet. Okay, and I'm going to turn that on. Okay, got that. And then I'm going to add in 1 cup of minced onion. So you can see this onion is really finely chopped, so we want it to be really small pieces, mint size, so that's small, small bits of the onion. So we will go on and add that into our skillet. And then I'm going to give that a stir together. So we'll start to hear our onion sizzle. I'm not sure, hopefully you can see the inside of that, at least a little bit. So I just have my olive oil and the onion in there. Okay. And then this is going to, I'm going to saute this until the onion is brown. Okay. Which should take about 5 minutes. So while the onion is hanging out there doing its thing, I'm going to come over here and start to work on my cauliflower. So you just want to cook it until it is fork tender. You don't want to overcook the cauliflower because then it could get all mushy and you don't really want it to be mushy. So I still have a little bit of the stem left in there. So I'm just going to cut cauliflower away. Be careful because it still is a little hot. And it says to cut the cauliflower into bite-sized pieces. So, and you can cut off as much of the stem as you want. If you like a little bit more stem, you can leave that on there. I'm going to cut off a little of the stem for my family's preference. Okay. I'm just going to kind of cut this up. Let's give this onion a little stir here. It's amazing how good just cooking olive oil and onion smells. So yummy. Pretty well cut up into bite-sized pieces. So this was just a whole head of cauliflower, and it was a fairly small head, so don't worry about it being on a little smaller side. You're still going to get quite a bit of cauliflower off of your piece. Okay, let's give this another stir because we do not want our onion to burn. We want it to get brown, but we do not want to burn it. And we're actually going pretty good here with it getting brown. Just let it go for just another little bit. So you can see how it's starting to brown. I'm going to tip the skillet up so you can see how it is browning. I think we're ready to go on and add our second batch of olive oil in. So now to this, I am going to add in 2 tablespoons of additional olive oil. Okay, there is that. And now I'm going to add in breadcrumbs. So I have 3/4 cup of seasoned breadcrumbs. We're gonna add those. And then I'm going to stir all of that together, along with my garlic powder. Okay. So you want all of those flavors to mix up together. So we want to cook it until it says the mixture bubbles. I guess we want to watch for this to bubble. Just want to make sure that those breadcrumbs are good and coated with that olive oil. Okay, so this is kind of what we have going on right there. So that's olive oil, onion, a little bit more olive oil, our breadcrumbs, and our garlic powder. This recipe is super simple, very few ingredients. Most of them you may already have at home, with the exception of maybe the cauliflower. So you may need to pick up a cauliflower. And then this is a super simple side dish to throw together. It's very healthy. The cauliflower has lots of good nutrients in it. It's high in fiber. It has vitamin A in it, vitamin K in it. Enter to see this bubbling that happens. This is the first time I've cooked this recipe, so I'm not overly familiar with it. It's the first time I've ever cooked a whole head of cauliflower at one time. I'm used to chopping it up and just cooking, you know, the bite-sized pieces themselves, but this is an interesting method. It's certainly a lot easier to cut up the cauliflower once it's already softened versus the raw cauliflower. So that was easier to do. Okay, and once this is ready, we are going to now add the cauliflower into our skillet along with our grated Parmesan cheese. So I have 1/4 cup of grated Parmesan cheese. Okay. I don't know how this tastes, but it certainly smells amazing. It smells really good. So I cannot wait to give this a try. I hope that you all will give it a try too. Cauliflower is very low in fat, very low in calories, or it has no fat, no cholesterol in it. This recipe has very little sodium, so if sodium is a concern for you, this would be a great recipe to try. You're just going to get a little bit of sodium from the breadcrumbs and the little bit of cheese. And then the salt and pepper are optional or seasoned to your taste, so you can totally omit adding any additional salt to this recipe. There's very little sugar. Okay, let's do it. We're gonna add in our cauliflower. Aren't these cutting mats the best? Because it just flex to what you need. And there's our cheese. Okay. And then I'm just gonna stir this all together. And this is gonna cook for 3 to 5 minutes. Just coating all of that cauliflower in our breadcrumb mixture. So now this has been cooking for about 3 minutes. I'm gonna add just a little bit of salt and pepper to it. Some pepper, just a very little bit of salt. Sprinkle that around. Take this off the heat. I'm gonna put it on my plate so you can see what it looks like. So this makes, I'm just gonna pile some of it up there so you can see what that looks like. This makes 12 half-cup servings. So it's a great way to get some extra vegetables in to your family. It does make quite a bit. There's still more in my skillet, as you can see. So it does make quite a bit. I hope that you guys give this recipe a try, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.